Hello guys, welcome back to Car Obsession and to another point of view drive. So as you can hopefully see in front of me, I'm joined by the brand new Audi S3, model code 8Y if you want to be extra nerdy. So we will of course jump into the cabin in a few moments, but I will quickly talk about the engine. It's a 2 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder. It is of course the EA888. It has more power than before, 333 horsepower along with 420 newton meters of torque. 0 to 62 is now done in 4.7 as opposed to 4.8 in the last car, and the top speed is of course limited to 155 miles per hour. Now, just want to quickly talk about the front end of the new S3. Interestingly, Audi has removed the front S3 badge, which I don't quite understand, and I'll be honest with you, hopefully you can see it because I can't see the angle you're seeing right now, but the front grille is quite plasticky, and yeah, I'm not a big fan of it. Anyway, you came here to watch me drive this very fast German beast, so let's do that, shall we? So we've kicked off in dynamic mode, because why wouldn't you? Yeah, as you'll quickly learn, this car is very potent, but as was the last car, so this should come as no surprise. Now, I've said it in my Cupra Formentor point of view video, it's very difficult to please everyone. Some of you want me to speak in these videos and tell you about the car, then there's other people that want me to shut up so you can hear the car. So it is difficult to please everyone. What I will do is, for the time being, I will remain silent and let you hear the car. You may hear a few things rattling, that's just my filming gear that's just moving about in the vehicle. Anyway, shut up Aaron, shut up. Stuck behind a Corolla, annoyingly. The roads have been a bit busy today because it's been the first nice day in the UK for quite some time, so yeah, the roads have been more filled with traffic. Sorry, I had a brain fart then, my words escaped me. As I am stuck behind a relatively slow moving car, let me talk you through the driving modes. You've got the drive select down here, as you get with any fast Audi. I do find quite often, you've just seen it there, you have to press it twice. It doesn't always register the first press of the button. So you have efficiency, which is boring, comfort, boring, auto, dynamic, which is what we're really interested in, dynamic plus, which is a new mode thanks to the torque splitter, which I will talk about in due course. And you also have individual. Let's slip it into dynamic plus, because why wouldn't you? Look at that lovely view. You can actually see the coast and the sea. Glorious. So yes, you've got the dynamic plus mode because you've got something called a torque splitter, which is now fitted to the new S3 and has been handed down from the RS3, this car's bigger brother. So it's a very clever bit of kit. It's a trick rear differential which essentially distributes how the power goes across the rear axle. To put it in the most simplistic terms, it means you get better handling and better cornering dynamics, because when you're going through a corner at speed, what will happen, the outside rear wheel will, more power gets sent to that, and it will help to drive the car around, thus minimising. Oh, was that deer just? I think deer just went across then. All right, we'll just be cautious in case more deer arrive. Sounds surprising, but it's very uncommon. I see deer in this area, which you think you'd be swimming in deer, but no, it's quite rare I see them. Anyway, yes, and the torque splitter minimises understeer as well. Where are you going? Because you're not indicating. You're going left. Fantastic. because that's the way I want to go. So as I mentioned, 333 horsepower, 420 newton meters of torque. If you prefer that in pound feet, I will drop a caption below. So this has 23 more horsepower compared to the last S3 and 20 more newton meters of torque. What does it do in regard to performance? Well, I may have mentioned it, but 0 to 62 in 4.7 seconds. The old car was 4.8. So not a lot in it, but faster is faster. And the top speed is of course limited to 155 miles per hour. The power is mated to all four wheels via a quattro system, Haldex, and the 7-speed S Tronic gearbox, which is brilliant. It's smooth, it's slick, it's responsive. Yeah, it is a very, very good gearbox. I think the gearbox has been tuned differently for the new S3 to make it more responsive. Not that the last S3 had a particularly slow S Tronic, but hey, it's nice to have improvements where possible. Apologies, I'm being held up a little bit by this Corolla, but yeah, the roads have been busy today. But hopefully as the day ends, the roads should become a little bit quieter. Now, some of you may have picked up on a fruity exhaust note, although I will say in the cabin it's quite subdued, so there's a good chance that a lot of you haven't, not unless you've got very sensitive hearing. As an option, this car has the performance exhaust system, and it isn't cheap. It's, well, there's no easy way to say this. £4,125. Yeah, that's a lot of money. Now that gets you a titanium exhaust, or titanium if you prefer, that is supplied courtesy of Akrapovic. Now don't get me wrong, it's a very smart, sexy looking exhaust. It does make a good noise, but does it make a good enough noise to warrant spending an extra £4,125 on your Audi S3? In my humble, honest opinion, no. Don't get me wrong, it may sound better, well I'm hoping it sounds better from the outside than it does on the inside, because yeah, in the cabin it's quite subdued, even in Dynamic Plus mode. Now for those of you that want your hot hats to perhaps fly under the radar and you want to be a bit more covert, then this will be a good thing. But yeah, the Cupra Formentor I had last week definitely had more drama. Granted, it had engine sound being pumped into the cabin via a sound imposer, but I'm pretty sure this uses a similar system, albeit not as pronounced. Got a bit of a gap, so ready? Let's hit the loud pedal. Well, I say loud pedal. This car makes speed effortless. It's very easy to drive this car fast, and the grip is phenomenal. It is outstanding. It's quite cold in the UK. This morning it was 2 degrees, the car was frosty, but even so, the tyres, the suspension and the chassis do a fantastic job of keeping you planted to the tarmac. It's very impressive, and in fact it's quite difficult to break traction in this car. You have to provoke the S3 quite hard, or you'd have to be quite clumsy and ham-fisted with the controls. Now around the 19-inch alloys there are Bridgestone Potenza tyres, which wouldn't be my first choice of tyre, but credit where credit's due, they've done a commendable job. I still maintain that the S3 isn't the most fun you can have in a hot hatch, but if you're looking for something that's classy, more refined, then this is of course going to be a good option for you. Now, speaking of refinement, that's quite a bad pothole, I want to avoid that. Speaking of refinement, this is a little bit noisy on the move. The tyres do create a bit of noise. They are low profile as well. The profile is 35. So the tyre size, in case you're really interested, 235 by 35/19. And because they're low profile, yeah, they do make a bit of noise. Interestingly though, at 70 miles per hour, this registered the same decibel meter, if you want to call it that, that's probably not the right phrasing, as the Cupra Formentor I had last week. Both cars recorded 71.1 decibels on my sound meter. So good to see that there's consistency, because they are the same platform with the same engine essentially. They're very, very similar cars. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. Love how the car becomes more eager when you pop it into Dynamic Plus. Let's get away from this boat. Hopefully it'll be smooth sailing from here. You can get the power down nice and early thanks to the wonderful grip and the torque splitter. Oh, that's very bright. Now, seeing as I haven't got anything behind me, I can ease off and we can do a cheeky launch. So let's turn the ESC completely off, although I imagine it's still a little bit on. I would be surprised in a car like this if you can turn the traction control completely off. I bet there's still an element of it working away in the background. Right, okay, let's go here. Right, need to keep a careful watch of the speedo. Oh my god! Not all the way to 60, but obviously I didn't want to go over the speed limit, but yeah, gives you an idea of just how fast this car is. You can put it into ESC Sport. Yeah, the exhaust does make a fairly decent noise, but I would want a bit more drama. Now, in the defence of Audi and Akrapovic, this car, if I'm not mistaken, is fitted with something called an OPF. That is essentially a petrol version of a DPF, a diesel particulate filter. And it's to help with emissions and make sure that this isn't being too dirty. Yeah, car manufacturers are being, it's becoming even more limited on what car manufacturers can do when it comes to emissions. So yeah, it does make the car greener, but sadly it does rob the car of lovely exhaust noise. For example, when I drove the last Audi TT RS, it definitely didn't have the same crackles and snarls that the TTS I drove in, I think, 2017 had. Shame, but needs must to keep these kind of cars on the road for as long as possible. The 7-speed S Tronic, as I touched upon earlier, is brilliant. Now, I normally leave it to its own devices because it's very good, but you can take control using the paddles. The paddles aren't the most upmarket pieces of equipment you'll touch, but yeah, it's not a massive complaint. But let's just check the changes. Yeah, very, very smooth. Almost as if the transmission is being lubricated by double cream. I don't recommend that, by the way. But yeah, very smooth, very silky, very impressive. But yeah, let's lock it back into automatic mode. One good thing about the manual mode though is that when you hit the red line, nowadays a lot of autos and semi-autos will change up for you. In my eyes, that isn't a manual mode. In this, when you hit the red line, it won't change up until you tell it to. That's very bright, so hopefully it's not causing too much of an issue for you watching the video. Oh, that's very bright, even with that down. I've now got a letterbox of vision, which isn't ideal, but never mind. What a lovely day it's turned out to be. It's been very grey and wet in the UK. But today's the 1st of March, as you can hopefully see on the virtual cockpit. Certainly does feel that spring is on its way. What's that Polo doing? Not checking its mirrors, that's what it's not doing. It's annoying, so I also wanted to go right, but hey ho. One thing quite cool about the Audi S3 is that it's got something called progressive steering, and essentially from lock to lock it only takes 2 turns of the wheel. Not mistaken, the ratio is variable, so it means that, well, it gives you less steering effort and input. I do really dig that. In dynamic or dynamic plus, the steering's well weighted. In comfort mode, it's surprisingly light, to the point that you could almost be fooled into thinking you're driving just your average humdrum A3, not S3. You can almost forget that you've got 333 horsepower underneath your right foot. Oh blimey, it's busy in here. Cool, this car park isn't normally quite this jam-packed. Oh, jiggly. Let's find a spot, get a wonderful look of the South Downs in all its majesty. Right, pop it into park so I don't roll off into the distance. Yeah, I do hope you have enjoyed that video, guys, or found it useful, hopefully both. If you have any questions about this car, please drop them in the comment section. Please bear in mind, no, this car has been given to me by Audi UK for just a week. Therefore, if you're looking for any long-term ownership kind of information, I can't supply it, because this car will be going back to Audi very shortly, and by the time you watch this video, the car would have gone back to Audi, so also bear that in mind. But yes, if you have enjoyed it, or found it useful, be sure to like, comment and subscribe. If you are subscribed, don't forget to click the bell icon so you get notified every time I make a video. But until the next time, guys, be sure to keep up the car obsession.